Well, hello, LinkedIn. I am so excited to be here today with the wonderful Gillian Whitney.
Woohoo!
Woohoo! So we are both here in our purple sofas, in our virtual purple sofas, because I am not in my purple sofa studio. And then Gillian has found a purple sofa background. I'm so impressed, Gillian. I'm not worthy.
Well, I did see on the invitation, bring your own sofa. So
Absolutely. Absolutely, you did. So, Gillian, thank you so much for joining me in the live lounge on the purple sofa. So, for those of you who don't know Gillian, because you really need to know Gillian, Gillian is a live stream strategist and coach. And what Gillian does is she makes LinkedIn live and recorded video easy peasy. Did I get that right, Gillian?
you got it perfect. Thank you.
And we met on LinkedIn. We will very soon be meeting in person, which I'm very excited about.
2 weeks today. Two
Go
weeks
on,
today.
tell us about it. Let's hear
Two
about what we're doing
weeks.
2 weeks today.
Okay, 2 weeks today, we will be at Uplift Live, which is the UK's first LinkedIn conference. And it is so exciting. There's still time to get a ticket. And if you can't come in person, come virtually, but it's in Birmingham. I'm saying it wrong. I'm sorry. Birmingham, UK. It's okay. You'll pardon my Americanism. And it's just going to be awesome. There's so many great speakers. I can't even name them all because I'd blow it and miss people, but just come. And Sarah will be there. And I can't wait to meet you, Sarah.
Oh, it's going to be absolutely wonderful. So we don't pronounce the H, we just say Birmingham. But
Birmingham.
we say it.
Okay.
I got it wrong. Birmingham. Birmingham.
Birmingham. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Or you can say Birmingham. It was a very, very poor Birmingham accent. Apologies to all those people who live in Birmingham because that was terrible. So we met on LinkedIn, and meeting yourself and various people on LinkedIn, I'd love to tell the stories of how we met, because for me, LinkedIn is about building relationships and making friendships with people, and also obviously business, because that's what we're really here for. But at the end of the day, if we're not enjoying the platform, we're not going to use it. And also, you just never know when you meet people on LinkedIn how they can help you or how you can help them in the future. So, Gillian, can you remember way back when how we did meet?
I do. I do. Okay. So this is a sweet, sweet story. We met on Valentine's Day. So we actually first connected February 4th, 2020. Yes, big purple heart. And we met through John Asperian because he is basically the epicenter of LinkedIn. And you had just received your Friday shout. And I felt, look at that curly hair. Look at this wonderful woman. I decided I wanted to reach out and connect with you. I introduced myself. You accepted my invitation. And then we kind of chatted back and forth in the DMs for a little bit. And then I did a big, bold move. You had posted a video. So, hey, testament to video here, people. When you post videos, people see it. So you posted a video in May, I think it was like May 31st, that something special was going to be happening. And you were going to be doing a birthday edition of Just a Minute. And we can talk about what that is later if you want. But it was like, it looks so fun. And you did a video, and it was like basically a game you were playing over Zoom because, it was COVID. So people were getting very creative with what they were doing. And so I went, oh, wow, this looks fun. And so I just sent you a DM and I said, can I come? And I didn't know you and I didn't know the other people. And at the time I was living in Israel, and I'm sure you all went, who is this woman coming? Nobody knows her. And, I could have just been the strangest, weirdest person dropping in on your birthday Zoom, but it all works so nicely. I met Rebecca Ward there, and then we all later on went on to do Clubhouse together. So it just goes to show you, video catches people's eyes and might make them lean in and be a little bit brave and reach out to you because they feel comfortable because I've seen you on video. I know you, right? And then the other thing is sometimes you just have to be bold and sort of put it out there that you'd like to come, and you accepted me, Sarah, and it was wonderful and started a friendship. It was great.
Oh, what really was wonderful. And yes, what happened on when I got the Friday shout out from John Asperian, thank you, John. I had floods of invitations to connect with people like yourself, with Kevin D. Turner, with Jeff Young, of course, all of whom are listening and watching now. And you reached out, and those people that reached out to me, I thought, wow, this is incredible. What an amazing community there is here. And I spent the whole day on my birthday going through my LinkedIn DMs. And my husband's like, come on, we're going out for dinner. I said, I've just got a few more to reply to. And I had all this whole new network of friends. And as you say, we became associates because we set up a LinkedIn room on Clubhouse with Niraj and Lauren Greif.
It's great.
And, so we've worked together, and since then we've stayed friends, and it's just wonderful. It's a really, really wonderful community. And I use your profile quite a lot when I'm giving examples of good profiles. I get people to look at yours because I love the way you've structured your about section. And, we just all help each other. And that's what LinkedIn is all about, which is wonderful. And here is, right, I'm going to have a little pause now because we have John Asperian in the house.
Aww.
Hello, John. We have Kevin D. Turner. We have Niraj. We have Jane Hanforth. We have Jeff Young. I mean, the gang are all here. And Niraj, you're quite right. Our Clubhouse room was epic. It was. And what's John say? It's lovely when people connect off the back of the Friday shout. Sarah was there on Valentine's Day 2020, and it was wonderful. And giving people a shout out on LinkedIn is just such a lovely thing, and it's such a lovely place to do that. And right, so Gillian, video easy peasy. I love this. So you've already talked about the value of video on LinkedIn because it helps you get seen. You also, what we're doing today, and it is a little bit scary, I have to say, setting up a live stream with you because you are the live stream expert. No pressure. So tell us about why live streaming, as well as video, but more so live streaming, is an important thing to do on LinkedIn.
Oh gosh. Well, first of all, I make mistakes more than anyone else. So no judgment zone. Here in the United States, we have a place called Planet Fitness, which is our gym. And you'd love it, Sarah, because it's all purple. And they have a big thing that says no judgment zone. And I love that because it's so true that we can never sit and say, oh, well, I'm judging people. I never judge. And I make all sorts of crazy stuff live. So why is live important? Because of all the crazy stuff. It makes you so real. And when somebody shows up on a live, I can't send, my VA to come step in and do the live for me. I have to show up myself, which means that you are having to use your communication skills, your ability to think fast, the ability to understand your topic and know what you're going to say. All these things are so, so important. And that's what I like about lives. They're raw, they're real, and it allows us to get to know people at their core. And for brand awareness, you just can't think of how could you put somebody out there that's like, this guy, this gal knows her stuff. So I think that's just so important for bringing in the reality of who we are and the authority and credibility of us.
You've raised a really valid point, actually, that the knowledge that we share, because it's very easy to read a script or, use AI or, use other people's material to write your blog. But you're absolutely 100% right. If you're live and somebody asks you a question, if you know the answer to that question, you really are showing your knowledge, aren't you? You can't fluff it. You can't fake it. Which I hadn't thought of that. But that's amazing. Yeah. And it is.
And then the other aspect that I'd bring in is I kind of think of lives as being a little 3D. in that we could have, we're not doing this today, but we could have made this an ask me anything about any topic in the world and literally spent the entire live bringing in the audience, having them ask questions, throwing their questions up on the screen, reading their questions. You don't get that with a video. A video is kind of one to many. It's like I make a video, I push it out, maybe you comment, but it's not the same. This is real-time discussions where if all of a sudden Laura had a question, or here's Jeff, if he had a question, we could actually have a whole discussion and sideline about that. So to me, that's what makes lives 3D experience, because the audience can participate in the experience. So that's quite amazing.
You're absolutely right, and that's what we were doing in our clubhouse room, wasn't it? It was literally ask us anything about LinkedIn, and we'll answer the questions. And we were never stumped, were we? We always got those questions. And I'm very happy if people do have questions for Gillian, please do put them in the chat and let's answer them. And we did have a question. Let me pull it up on my screen. We did have a question from a gentleman who I don't know. Well, didn't know. Of course, I do now. Joris van Huytview, who asked a question about the landscape, the future landscape of live and recorded video. So I'm going to throw that at you right now, Gillian. What do you see as the future landscape for live and video? Is it going to survive AI? Is it going to survive how we're now communicating?
Well, I think if you look at regular video, I think we're going to just see more and more of, short videos and the more entertainment, which is like edutainment, when they take entertainment and education and put them together. I think that's important. So I think that with video, but if we're talking specifically about live streaming, I think we're going to see more and more people getting involved in live streaming. I predict we're going to start to see more people doing it on their company page, because if you are hosting events, I think that we have seen over time, company pages are getting much more relevant. There seems that LinkedIn is putting more stuff into company pages. And I could see that as people are getting more savvy and learning how to use lives, putting them on company pages makes so much sense, because then you can have multiple admins, you can have a registration form, you can have promotions. And LinkedIn is kind of starting to be a little bit of a pay-to-play platform with all the premium features. And so if I was doing lives on my company page, I could actually be promoting those with ads. So that's what I kind of see as like the long-term future. I think we're going to see more people on a company level get involved with live streaming.
Oh, I love that. I love that idea. So let's dive into this a bit further. Let's say you're a big firm of accountants, for example, because I work a fair bit with accountants. How would you use live to help with your brand awareness or whatever it is? What kind of things do you see you could do on live?
Oh gosh, you could do a ton of stuff. So you could do your typical like two-person event like we're doing today. You
Mhm.
could do a panel and have, different things about, the company, and you could have key players of the company in a panel. So sort of get to know our company events. You could do some really fun behind the scenes demos, because the thing about lives is doesn't necessarily have to be just in your house or in your workplace. If you have the right internet setup, you could be walking around your office and you could say, kind of like I'm thinking about like the old office shows, but, literally going back and saying, here's the folks that work in accounting. Here's the HR department. Here's our lunchroom and the popcorn machine. You could do all those kind of things where it's behind the scenes and people could get to know you. So that could be some different things. And I remember I went to I went to a training event at a hospital last year, and my sister was having an operation, and we were the caregivers being taught how to care for the person on the day of the surgery. And I thought to myself at the time, why are we all coming in here with somebody who's got a bad knee? And it was like so hard for everybody to get in here. We could have done this on a live. We could have done this. They were introducing us to different people. They were showing a few videos. You can do that on a live. You can actually premiere a video and show it. So there are so many complex things that you can be doing. Anything a company does on Zoom, you can do better on a live just because of the way you can lay out your screen, and you don't have to have all those little people lined up on the side. So it's just amazing what you can do with a live.
It is amazing. And, you're really opening, my mind now is going all over the place. And I'm thinking about, you could do, I loved what you said about demos, you could do product demos. So, showing people how to use equipment, how to, as you say, how to have conversations with people, how to introduce people to other people. All of those things, absolutely amazing, the things that people can do on live. You're absolutely right. So thank you, Gillian. That's incredible. Incredible knowledge. And it doesn't have to be the CEO, does it? It could be anybody in the organization could run the live. And that's really humanizing the brand, which is what people want more and more, isn't it? They're fed up of being corporatized. It's the people within the organization that you'd be using to just go on live and talk to people.
Exactly. And the nice thing, if it's from a company page, you could actually hire someone who's kind of your live stream host. Because if you have somebody in your company and they're like, we don't want to do it, they're all scared to death. Well, you could say, well, just hire your social media person. And the social media person could be freelance, they could be part-time, whatever. And they just show up and they are the facilitator, they take care of it. So those are, you can kind of think outside the box. If this seems too much for your company, there's other ways to get around it.
Absolutely. And I met somebody today who is a voice and podcast coach specializing in corporates. So she goes into corporates and she teaches them how to voice themselves properly on podcasts, how to present themselves. She helps them with their scripts, all of those kinds of things. So that could be something, let's give your staff some training, or bring somebody into the organization, as you said, and help these people really make the most of their life. Incredible. We have a question from Laura Doman. Thank you, Laura. Do you think LinkedIn Lives will ever have a private room option? So taking the place of virtual company conferencing.
I don't think so, because not with LinkedIn, only because when I first started live streaming, I've been live streaming now for 3.5 years. And when I first started live streaming, I think it was maybe a year in that LinkedIn actually purposely made everything public. And they had announced that was their intention. They want everything on the platform to be public, probably because they don't want to police it. So that would be my thing, same with like LinkedIn audio events. You can't have those private. Now, what would be nice is if LinkedIn would allow us to have them in a group. So if you could live stream to your particular LinkedIn group, I think that would be very good, because then that might get people to join the group or whatever. But I don't think we're going to ever see a private room option like what we did on Clubhouse.
Okay, good. Thank you for that. We have a very interesting comment, which has come in from Kevin D. Turner. And I said it in my English accent. I did not try my Texan. Kevin is the guru of new things on LinkedIn, shall we say. So Kevin is telling us that native live streaming is coming in 2024. What do we think this means? What's that? What's the impact of that?
Well, I don't know, because Kevin has not shared this with me, but so
it's breaking news.
It's breaking news. We need the ticker and the bing and the bong and everything else. But what I would think that would mean, and this is just me guessing impromptu off the top of my head, without deviation, repetition, and whatever, just a minute. But what I'm thinking that would mean is the equivalent of what we used to do on Facebook. And probably people are still doing it on Facebook. I'm just not on Facebook, so I don't do it. But on Facebook, you could live stream in the moment using Facebook without having any other thing. Now, with LinkedIn, you have to use a third-party tool. And LinkedIn actually has preferred partners. And the preferred partners, one of them is StreamYard, which is what you and I are using, both, Sarah. And so we're using this tool and it pushes out to LinkedIn, but it also can push out to YouTube and other places as well. So what I think that Kevin might be referring to is that ability like Facebook that you could, in the moment, instead of doing a video, click go live and go live to your personal page. But I don't believe that that's necessarily going to replace all these other tools, because I like to schedule my lives. So you need to use one of LinkedIn's preferred partners if you want to schedule your lives.
Yeah. Okay. Got you. And also, what I love about StreamYard, which is what, as you say, what we're using, is we're live streaming this to LinkedIn, but it's also being live streamed on my Facebook page and also on my YouTube channel.
Right.
And in
Right.
fact, you could also be streaming it on your channels as well, couldn't you?
Yes. Yes. And I
So,
didn't do that because I've already, sneaky thing, I've already found your post on YouTube and I've already posted that to my YouTube channel. So I didn't even need to stream it. So it was really good. It's
so
just
hang
really
on,
easy.
run me through that. What have you done?
So I found your live on YouTube and then I have saved it to my guest appearances on my own YouTube channel. So it's automatically streaming right now there. So it's kind of cool.
I didn't know you could do that. You see,
Yay.
guys, that's amazing. So if I'm, so you went to because obviously this is scheduled, so it's already there. So you went to the scheduled live on YouTube and you added it to your YouTube channel.
Yep, to my playlist. Yeah. So I have a playlist of guest appearances. So it's kind of a cool little YouTube hack you can do. You can, and it doesn't take it, it just takes your video and puts it on a playlist on my channel. Still on your channel. So that way it's like all the views go together. So instead of you and I have competing versions of this live, there's just one and you'll get all the bonuses, but people will also see it on my channel. So it's kind of
That's
cool.
amazing. I had no idea that was a thing. And somebody, we don't know their name, unfortunately, LinkedIn user said that's very clever, which it is. Wow, I didn't know that. So that's fantastic.
One more thing about the native live streaming.
Mhm.
The other thing that you might not be able to do, you can do this on Facebook, but I don't think you're going to be able to do it on LinkedIn, is you wouldn't, if you did native live streaming, you probably won't be able to download that video. So that's the other thing. Like you and I are streaming on LinkedIn. We cannot download that from LinkedIn, but because Sarah, because you're using StreamYard, you have a library and you can download it. So that would be the other advantage of having, a service like this as opposed to in the moment live streaming natively.
Got you. And in fact, as I've explained to you, is that this is going to be a podcast as well. So I just take the MP4, it's not the MP4, the audio file, and then that's going to be turned into a podcast at some date in the future, TBC. So this live stream, and I know that you also have a regular live spot on, is it a Monday?
Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Pacific time.
So it's in my calendar. I never make it because I always have something else on a Tuesday, which is 6 p.m. I think in the UK at the moment. Your show is 30 minutes. I've chosen 30 minutes for this particular show. Is there an optimum length of time for lives? And well, let's just stick with lives for now. Do you think 30 minutes? Obviously, 30 minutes is right for your audience.
That's the sweet spot.
That's the sweet spot.
It really is. It's like I've talked with a lot of other live stream hosts and we all agree 30 minutes is that sweet spot, especially if you're doing a 2-person live. If you are just doing a quickie little training, you can get in here and, get in and get out in 15 minutes. So if you just kind of like, okay, this is Sarah's, let me walk you through the profile. And you did that for, I don't know, you did that as a whole series or something like that. You could get away with 15 minutes for that. LinkedIn likes us to be here at least 10 minutes. So that is enough time for people to get in and stuff. But I found any lives longer than an hour, people are like, okay, I have to go to the bathroom now. So I'm not watching.
Yeah. Point. Gosh, an hour. That's a very long time. I don't think I could sit and watch for an hour.
That's best for panels. Like if you have like a panel of 4 people and you're covering a specific event, or maybe you're doing a product launch or something like that, so, some sort of big book launch, whatever. I think a 4-person panel, they can get away with an hour, but a typical 2-person live, keep it to 30 minutes. And I did a couple of polls, and everybody who answered my poll agreed 30 minutes was good. And record for the ear, like a podcast, like you said, Sarah, because if somebody's listening on a podcast and you're like, and in this slide, and you're showing all these slides, they're just like, okay, I feel left out now. Bye. So record for the ear.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. And I think, and we had a conversation earlier about trying to introduce and include the audience that are here live, but that content will get cut out for the podcast, because nobody needs to listen to a podcast and everyone's going, oh, hello, so-and-so, and hello, so-and-so, because that's just not relevant to them at all. So 30 minutes for live. What about video? What do you think at the moment, here we are in March 2024, is an optimal length for video?
Well, I used to say 2 minutes, and I brought it down to a minute, 30 seconds. So a minute and a half. But to be honest with you, I try to keep them now a minute if I can. That's usually my goal. And I love to repurpose. So think YouTube shorts. If you want to repurpose that and make it a YouTube short, you got to get below a minute anyway. So it's a really good target. If you can get that video down as short as possible, the better, especially if we're talking about a video that's in the feed, because those news feed videos, people don't know you. So the less I know you, the less time I'm going to give you. So I'm not going to watch a 6-minute video if I don't know who you are. It's like, and most videos don't need to be that long. So the shorter, the better. And I have to admit, vertical video really does well. I have found that vertical video does the best. So I do 16:9, like what we're doing now for a live. I do it for some videos, but if I can, I like to repurpose them as vertical videos because I feel they do better. And the old square ones, they don't seem to get as much traction anymore. So I don't do those.
That's interesting. I guess they're bigger in the feed, I guess. Is that why, do you think?
They're bigger in their feed. And, you have to always think about the person on a mobile phone. And that's who you're optimizing everything for. It is the majority of users are using their phone. So you want to make sure, does this look appealing? And the worst thing you can do is somebody will take a 16:9 video like this, but somehow put it in a vertical frame. And now you have like a gigantic amount of dark space at the top and the bottom in this little teeny video. Don't do that.
Yeah, because more and more people are using mobiles, aren't they, for accessing LinkedIn? I think it's gone over. Well, it's gone over the 50% now, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. Oh, excuse me. We are coming to the end. I can't believe these half hours just absolutely fly by. So the final question that I would love you to answer, Gillian, is could you give us 3 top actionable tips for anybody thinking about starting either video or live?
Well, let's start with video, because it's probably just a little bit easier right now. So right now, because they've taken away the LinkedIn profile video, it's a really important thing to find a way to get something up. And if you've been a guest on somebody else's show and introduce yourself, guess what? You have a video. Just ask that person for the video and then edit it down and get it up. It doesn't have to be some fantastic thing. So just doing things like that. Another thing is do simple videos. What I have to give a shout out to Lois Cliff. Yesterday, she posted a video and she was making porridge and she was just talking about she's potty about porridge. She's doing this potty about porridge thing. She turned on the camera. She just started putting things in her porridge. She's showing us avocado. Things like that are entertaining, but they're educational. So let people into your world. So that was another good one. And then the third one would be just do something. And remember, it doesn't always have to be a talking head. So if you're more comfortable just putting a couple of pictures up and a little bit of music and maybe putting some text on the screen, guess what? That counts as a video. So we don't have to overthink it. It doesn't have to be a work of art. Just start with something because people really do get to know you with video.
Absolutely right. You're so right. So I'm going to tell you the story, which I may have told on this sofa before. It's my first video that I broadcast on LinkedIn somewhere. I've got to find it and repurpose it, haven't I, and get it out there. It took me all day to film it. Honestly, so I didn't know how to edit then. I didn't have iMovie. I didn't obviously, so it had to be a one taker. And I've studied photography, so I know about lighting, etc. So I was trying to find the best light. I was outside, then I went inside, and I looked like I'd got a tree growing out of my head, and all of these things. And I was recording. None of them were right. Anyway, I finally got there. Standing at the top of my stairs, which are quite steep to go down to my lower ground floor. So I could have fallen backwards and been in a heap forever. Anyway, I did this video. I trimmed the edges off because I recorded it on Zoom, which is how I record my videos because it's super, super easy. And when I posted it, I felt physically sick. I was so nervous. I was like, and you know what happened? Nothing. The world didn't blow up. LinkedIn didn't kick me off. But I did it. And it was probably rubbish, but I did it. And you're absolutely right, Gillian, is get started and get doing it. Because actually, as we know, not many of our followers and our connections actually see what we post anyway. So just do it. And if it's awful, does it matter?
No, it's like Planet Fitness here in America. No judgment zone. Just do it. Just do it. And Sarah, if it hadn't been for you that posted that video about your upcoming Zoom birthday event, where literally all you did was take a couple of Zoom screenshots, and people were laughing, I wouldn't have reached out and said, can I come? And we wouldn't have got to know each other. We could have just casually carried on a conversation in the DMs. But the video encouraged us to take that next step. And I felt comfortable because watching video, I had a good feeling for who you were. I had to celebrate your birthday because I'm a June baby too.
Absolutely. And I was honored that you came and joined my game. Excuse me.
Good.
Yes, we do need to see the first video. I think that's Kim Willis. I'll try and find it, Kim, and we can get that up. Felipe had a question. Hello, Felipe. Lovely to see you here. Thank you for joining. There's one question. Oh gosh, we're over time. Do lives give you the opportunity to record in vertical format?
They do now. So I tested this. If you go over to my profile, there's actually a test I did doing it. I want to get a willing victim to come on my show, and we'll try, actually not on my show, just a regular time. And we'll just go test it. I want to see how two people can do it. So that'd be fun.
I'd love to. I'm volunteering my services.
Okay. We'll do it.
Gillian, we are at the end. I look forward to that. We are at the end, unfortunately. Where can we find you?
On LinkedIn. That's the best place to just click on my little head here. That should go over to my profile and connect with me. Tell me you saw me on the lovely Sarah Clay's purple sofa, and we'll connect. And I'd love it. And I hope if anybody's here going to Uplift Live, I'll see you in 2 weeks. Woo-hoo.
You certainly will. Gillian Whitney, it's been an absolute delight. Thank you so much for sharing your amazing insights with video and live streaming. Thank you so much. Please, guys, if you're not already, go and find Gillian and connect with her because she's absolutely fabulous. Thank you, Gillian.
Thank you. And thank you for having me.